So when you start talking about tribe and what check the rhyme meant to the world and what low end theory meant to the world, I was a kid when low end theory came out, but my childhood memories are riding with my older brother and check the rhyme blowing my back out of whack because I'm sitting in the back seat and my brother got the subwoofer in the trunk and Phife Dawg's vocals is vibrating through. Listen, dog. Listen.
Yeah.
You know, Tribe was special, man. Tribe is special.
Y'all ready to get it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Can do. Y'all know who we are, or maybe y'all don't. And just in case y'all don't, I'm gonna remind y'all. You know what I'm saying? We gonna remind y'all. Hold on, make sure y'all can see that we are the Beat Connection.
And no, I'm always repping the Beat Connection.
Always repping. Just cause we ain't got it, just cause the apparel ain't on, don't mean she ain't repping. We are the Super Friends of Sampling. We talk tracks.
Can I leave this up here the whole episode?
Oh, I mean, if you want to, brother. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you get your point across. That's it. But y'all know we here to do what we do best. We talk tracks and we talk the samples that inspire them and all that good stuff in between, whatever. So with all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get this intro out the way real quick. I am your man, the Can Do Kid, Mr. Shizz. I am your pseudo if so facto host. And to my left, you're right, depending on how you see it, hearing, absorbing, being, listening, and all that good stuff. To the left, my right, my left, you're right, depending on how you see it, hearing, and being. We have the singer-songwriter producer.
What's up, y'all? It's Alexa Gold in the building.
Always in the building. And do I really need to say this? Do I really need?
Yeah, you gotta say it.
I mean, this.
You tell me, bro.
I mean, you know, sometimes I try to think of new words to say and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I try to think of new things and all that. And sometimes you just gotta take it back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And I always refer to you as our resident flamethrower, our resident big lighter. You know what I'm saying? Our resident ghost writer.
Mm-hmm.
Our resident spitter, lyricist, and everything in between. We have to the bottom, my brother from another.
Yo, I love the way that you put that on the delivery package, by the way. I'm gonna give you
hey, man, you know, I'm always, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, that was dope. I go by the name of Azrael DiCaprio. Cerebral Assassin of Raw Deal Squad Entertainment is always in the building.
Always in the building. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, we love all our supporters. I don't like to say fans, you know what I'm saying? But we love everybody to support what we do and tune in every week or so and check out our merch and check out likes, our videos and all that good stuff. And you know what I always say, because a famous person said, loving you is easy because y'all are beautiful. I'm gonna just go ahead and put that out there. You know what I'm saying? From us to y'all. Lex, I remember we had a conversation one day, right? Matter of fact, not too long ago. And then we was talking, and I was like, who are some of your inspirations as far as music? And you know, and I was, because I think I know a little bit of everything, but I really don't know. I just know a lot about nothing. I'm always quick to say Tina Marie. You know what I'm saying? Because again, rightfully so, I think that's what we kind of, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what was always playing up under the pillow at night. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know that, but I know that. But, so I'm always saying Tina Marie, but then you surprised me. But you know what? After I listened, I understood. So with all that being said, I'm not going to ask who wants to go first because I know who wants to go first.
Yes. Rest in heavenly peace, beautiful peace to one of the most amazing vocalists, artists, performers that I've ever heard in my life. She is definitely one of my musical inspirations, and I'm just grateful that I got a chance to hear her music. We are talking about Minnie Ripperton. And for those of you who don't know, Minnie Ripperton is primarily known as a vocalist who's worked with Stevie Wonder. She's worked with Michael Jackson. And she's worked with, some other notable producers and musicians. But her biggest hit, one of her most popular hits, was Loving You. And, a lot of people know the whistle note that she does in the song, but...
You're scared to try it. You're scared to try it.
I tried it. It's tough.
This is the woman who Mariah Carey says is one of her inspirations. So if you know Mariah Carey's voice and you know the high whistle note that she does, she pretty much was inspired from this woman, Minnie Ripperton. Mm-hmm. For me, Minnie, I love her because this just so much. So I love her because her versatility, I think, doesn't get talked about enough. So, we talked about, most people talk about Loving You and they think that that's like the only song that she has.
Right.
But her range in regards to rock music,
oh my God,
in regards to R&B, soul is...
I'm still down the rabbit hole of Rotary Connection.
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
Yo, I totally forgot what song we were supposed to be talking about. I've been down that rabbit hole all week.
Yo, when I say like Minnie Ripperton's versatility and just the music that she's done alone, and I'm not talking about her versatility like vocally. Yes, she has great versatility, but what she chose to do in her performance life, I mean, because she started off doing kind of like the girl group, doo-wop, sort of thing. And then she transitioned to working with Rotary Connection, and that's how she met her husband, Richard Rudolph, who they got married and they gave birth to son and daughter, Mark and Maya Rudolph. Maya, who is, best known from SNL, and also, some other movies as well. But yeah, I mean, she basically, it's from Rotary Connection, worked with Richard Rudolph. She met Charles Stepney, who was basically a conductor, musician, and he birthed the first album that I had really come to know her from, which is Come to My Garden. And from then on, it just escalated, and, it just gave, her journey is just so incredible. It's a short-lived journey, sadly, because at the age of 31, she passed from breast cancer. She passed from breast cancer. But, in the small, like in that short time of her life, she just really created so much incredible music and has such an incredible, like a deeply felt impact on the music world that just, I mean, it still reverberates to this day. And because I don't want to like take over the whole show with just me like fanning, standing out over her, I implore everybody to go out and listen to more than just Loving You, but listen to Minnie Ripperton, her pretty much her whole catalog. And not only that, the song that was sampled for Tribe Called Quest, which was Baby This Love I Have, which personally is one of my favorite tracks from her, if not my most favorite track from her.
So the one job that I have, you just one job that I
ain't trying to take a job. I'm not trying to take a job.
I don't do nothing else here in this show except, and you just gonna take it like that.
Not trying to take a job, brother. I'm just saying, like, Minnie Ripperton for me. I love her so much. Yeah.
Well, since you put it out there, Reed, before I pass you the mic, let me just go ahead and put it out there.
You got it.
Okay, so as Miss Goldie just eloquently put together, you know what I'm saying? We're talking Minnie Ripperton, her track, Baby This Love I Have, off of her album, Adventures in Paradise, which was produced by Richard Rudolph, Minnie Ripperton, and Stuart Levine, or Levine, depending on where you're from and how you want to say it. This was released in 1975. Now, not so known group, you know what I'm saying? Depending
Not
on
so
where you
known.
from. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Greatest-
Sarcasm, right?
Greatest hip hop
Tribe
group of
Called
all.
Quest.
Greatest hip hop group of all time. Nobody.
Right, A Tribe Called Quest sampled it for their track Check the Rhyme off of their album Low End Theory, which was produced by A Tribe Called Quest, which was released in 1991. Mr. Azrael DiCaprio, the floor is yours, sir.
Yes.
You on point, Shizz?
Your thing.
All the time, Ray.
Right. I'm tracking what he's saying. Honestly, that's what I was waiting for her to jump in.
Can't just leave that matzo ball out there. What are you doing? But no, before I go into the legendary Tribe Called Quest, when we were doing research for this episode, much like when we discussed Aaron Allen Kane and she said that he thought about Alexis, without knowing that that was one of your greatest inspirations, I thought about you as I listened to Minnie.
Damn.
For multiple reasons. One, because of how revolutionary she is as a vocalist. Like that whistle note originates with her.
That's crazy.
Like you can't do that note and not think of. You can't even attempt that note without thinking a minute. Right? Then I think about her journey. I think about how she ended up doing backup for Chess Records because she was a receptionist. And think about where she is in the grand scheme of music now. She's a pioneer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you mentioned Stevie and Michael, but it goes back to Howlin' Wolf and Chuck Berry and Muddy Waters, and Rotary Connection is the backing band for so many Chess Records albums. For people that don't know, the movie Cadillac Records is based on Chess Records.
Yeah.
And so then you got to talk about Etta James. Like Minnie has worked with so many of our icons, and she died at what, 31? She wasn't even 32 yet.
Yeah.
So that was another reason why I thought about you, I thought about my wife, and what breast cancer has done to so many of our Black women. Women in general, but specifically Black women. I want all of our women fans, you Alexis, my wife, Shizz, your wife, make sure you guys take care of yourself. By any means necessary, to quote Malcolm. Now, with that out the way. So I mentioned the breast cancer because one of the things that I looked at was her final interview when she was still sick, and her spirits were still extremely high. She told a story about how she was shooting a promo video for, was it Adventures in Paradise was the name of the album? And she almost got mauled by a lion.
Right.
Oh yeah, for the album cover.
But then they showed the clip of when it happened. And I was like, oh. Now, she's so brave. She's like, oh, I wasn't scared. I just figured the lion was trying to play. So I say all that to say she's keeping her spirits high while clearly still not feeling her best. She can't even move on. She can't even
not
move
for
on.
nothing. That's a beautiful album cover too.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
When I looked at it again, I was just like, wow, this was beautifully shot.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I forget who she's doing an interview with, but you notice that she can't move her right arm. She still manages to put on a great performance. She's performing, I believe it was Memory Lane. She did a rendition of Memory Lane. You still notice that her arm isn't moving much, but she hasn't lost a step with her voice.
Right.
So just admiring the strength of that woman in that moment, because I think she passed maybe like a couple months later. So there's no telling what she might have been feeling internally, but still, the show must go on, as entertainers will often tell you. So I just wanted to pay homage to her in that moment before I fanned out over Tribe.
Oh yeah.
Because as sad as that is, it's also R.I.P. to Phife Dawg.
Right.
You know what I mean, like so many of our icons end up going too soon for health reasons or you know, whatever the reason may be. It's just sad, but fortunately you've left so much for the world to remember you by.
Yes.
Like I was reading an interview with Phife Dawg, and anybody who's familiar with Tribe knows that towards the end there was not static, but I can beef with my brothers, but you better not.
Right.
That kind of energy. So for them, before Phife passed away, to get back together and record an album before he passed, that meant a lot to me. And I'm gonna be all over the place with Tribe because, you know, the episodes can only be but so long, but there's so much to cover when it comes to Tribe. Tribe is one of the only, if not the only act that I'm aware of that without retroactively being awarded this, they had 2 albums get 5 mics in the source at the moment of release, not given to them later on.
Right. You know this, I ain't gonna touch it.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, because you know the source, like, you know what I'm saying,
but the source is their prime. Just remember, this is the source in their prime.
Right.
So it's different. This ain't the source when they was giving Never mind, forget it.
Yeah, I said I ain't gonna touch it.
Yeah, never mind, forget it. Shout out to Benzino. Anyway,
right.
I digress. But anyway, when Check, you know what? What's industry rule 4080? I bring that up because it was almost foresight that the Kamal didn't even know he had. Because let Phife Dawg tell it, the record label was the reason, well, one of the reasons that Tribe broke up. We had a discussion like this in pre-production. Because it can happen. Do what you can to make sure that the industry that you're in does not destroy the art you're creating.
Right.
You know what I mean? The chemistry between Phife and Ali and Jarobi and Tip, like their greatness as a unit is only measured by how great they were apart. When you think about Q-Tip, we talked about Prince in one of our, I think the Wayne and Aaron Allen Kane episode. Mm-hmm. Do you know that Tip had Prince come on stage and play guitar for Vibrant Thing?
You know what? I think I saw that.
Yeah. It was one of those things that it was dope when you saw it, but you'll forget that it happened. I went back and watched it again and was like, yo. They always talk about how remember how Mike was in Wimbledon? How MJ was in Wimbledon and everybody was fainting, even though though he hadn't moved. Prince came out on stage with Q-Tip, picked up the guitar and didn't say a word. Same reaction. Sometimes, and if you know Prince, you know he wasn't all he ended up being a fan of hip hop, but he didn't start out that way.
Right.
So for Q-Tip to be able to get Prince to come on stage and play guitar while you're performing Vibrant Thing, are you kidding me?
Right.
That's how musically inclined Q-Tip is. Shizz, what you got? I'm not gonna ball hog. Go ahead.
Nah, because you know what? So I'm gonna throw y'all a curveball here in a second.
Go ahead, you got it. What's up?
I'm gonna throw y'all a curveball here in a second. So,
okay.
Minnie Ripperton, right? Mm-hmm. And now we all know what we know, right? And again, I always say I listen to all genres of music. I listen to everything, and you only know what you know. And I'm familiar with Minnie Ripperton, but I became more familiar, Lex, ever since we had that conversation. And I'm actively seeking out her vinyls as we speak. And this just, and listening to this track just reinforced that, because it's easy to kind of be like, Minnie Ripperton, loving you. You know what I'm saying? But it's like people's catalog is so much bigger.
Oh, so much
what,
bigger. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What one particular track is.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing homework, I try to go through comments and stuff when I watch videos and interviews and all of that. And one particular one that I thought was dope was and I can't remember, I didn't annotate who put it down, but one person put, I came because of hip hop, but I stayed because of Minnie. And I thought that was such a simple but such a dope comment, because it's like, I came for because, you know what I'm saying, Check the Rhyme brought me here, but I stayed because, you know what I'm saying, Minnie locked me in, and it was like, I can
rabbit hole,
right? And I can understand that. So again, shout out to Minnie Ripperton, because her voice is oof. Like I said, I'm actively seeking out her vinyls as we speak.
So before you go in, that's the crazy part for me, because I've been familiar with Minnie's solo work. Not all the albums, but like the bigger records, the more notable records, and I've always known about her impact. It's the Rotary Connection that I'm kind of getting lost in right now. I'm like, yo, this sound like P-Funk before P-Funk. Like, what is this heaven that I was stumbled across?
Right.
But go ahead.
But so, okay, now A Tribe Called Quest and Check the Rhyme, right? It's funny that it's always crazy when we talk about these tracks or whatever, because I always say it brings you back. And I can remember when this track was coming on the radio, and I used to always, and I love this track because I always loved the feel and the flow of it, and it was just so cool and just and it was just always just such a dope, smooth track. But I say that to say
the original
horns in between during the chorus, I guess, if you will, was equally as dope, because it helped with the transition. It was like a roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? And I would be remiss, right? Because I'm a big fan of like that, like funk disco kind of, you know what I'm saying, that sound or whatever. Tonight, give a shout out to for a little well-known band called the Average White Band. They're responsible for the horns that you hear in between or whatever. And for people that don't know, as of, I want to say 2020, the Average White Band is ranked as the 15th most sampled group out there.
Wow.
And for people that don't know, that you probably, if you ever heard the track Pick Up the Pieces, that's them. You know what I'm saying? So they've been sampled, and again, I had to jot this down, right? I had to jot it down. They've been sampled by Eric B. and Rakim, Public Enemy, TLC, the BC Boys, Nas, Arrested Development, and like I said, a little known group called A Tribe Called Quest.
That's crazy.
So I would be, you know what I'm saying, I felt like I had to give them a shout out, because again, I'm a big fan of funk, disco, and all that kind of stuff. And I thought it was just so dope, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like layers to this Check the Rhyme track.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that, yeah.
And there's even more samples in there. Grover Washington makes an appearance, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yo,
shout out to the production from Tribe, and again, we don't know who primarily did the work, you know what I'm saying, but we primarily know Q-Tip as like as more so as de facto like producer or whatever. So it's like, yo, shout out to him, his ear or their ear, you know what I'm saying, for not only sampling the beautiful Minnie Ripperton, sampling Grover Washington, and then also, you know what I'm saying, using the drums from an average white band, because I feel like that part in between, the beginning, in between and all that, is that transitional part is just as dope. Or, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's all opinion, just as dope as like the background instrumental itself. But again, that the beat for me is so cool.
Yeah,
it's just so dope. It's mellow as hell, right?
No, but that's the crazy part, because that beat is so mellow and Phife went so crazy.
Yeah, Lex, you look like you brewing up there. Go for it.
Because I listened to the album, and it was actually my first time hearing it. And I listened, like Low, and
For real?
It was my first time actually hearing the album from beginning to end.
All right, now I'm shutting up. I just want to hear it. If you felt even remotely how I felt the first time I heard that, what? Listen.
It's so crazy from like the first song to the last. Like I love the jazz influence. Like one of the things that I absolutely love about the album is just the jazz influence. Like, because it's easy to like take from like funk, whereas like it has like that groove from the drums and like bass and guitar and all of that. But to take specifically from jazz and to have that as the foundation of the album, and still have it be like one of the greatest hip hop albums ever made, is like
hands down.
It's so crazy. So hearing that, and first of all, hearing Scenario like in the album, for me was just like, oh yes, like I love Scenario, but the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because this song has more of like that R&B influence to it, and it was one of the singles from the album. And so when you listen to the whole album and then you hear Check the Rhyme, it does sound, I don't want to say it sounds like it doesn't belong on the album, but it has like something distinct about it that is different from most of the album. So I can see why they chose it as a single. It has like a certain appeal to it. And so, like just hearing the album, this week, I was like, so this is what I have not heard for like the last like 20 years.
No, listen. Let me tell you how great Tribe is. So remember when I was talking, I said that they're the only group to get 2 back-to-back 5 mics. Mm-hmm. They deserve 3, because Midnight Marauders, the 3rd album, is equally as classic. But I feel like the Source shortchanged them on the mics, because like, all right, we can't give you 3 5 mic George in a row. But you know what? Go ahead, cause I don't want you to lose your thought.
No. I didn't really have like too much that I wanted to say about that. It was just more so like me just hearing the album for the first time this week, and just really understanding the impact that it had, but also really just I love that time in music, because I'm just so appreciative that they use jazz, a music that, sometimes a lot of young people don't want to listen to. And a lot of young people during that time probably didn't want to listen to jazz, but they used primarily jazz samples. And they even had Ron Carter, one of the most like a legendary jazz bassist, play on the album. And it really made the album what it was. Like it has an incredible flow and musicality, like what they bring in terms of like the lyricism, like everything. It's just a dope album, yo. It's just so dope.
Those first 3 Tribe albums are uncanny. Like it's as much as we talk about RZA, as much as we talk about Dre, as much as we talk about Premier, as much as we talk about Kanye, Q-Tip, which brings me to Kanye. We always talk about how much Kanye reminds us of Pete Rock. Who Kanye really reminds me of is Tip and Ali Shaheed. Because of how they're able to layer music. Like
Got you.
Like Shizz mentioned, like they took three different samples and created this masterpiece.
It's like 7. Honestly, it's like 7 to 8 of them joints in there.
And you know why that is? Because Ali Shaheed is a jazz enthusiast. Ali Shaheed actually makes jazz albums now.
He works with Adrian Young.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He works with Adrian Young.
Yeah, Midnight Hour.
He also did the score for Luke Cage.
Yep.
You know, so Ali Shaheed is out here doing amazing things in jazz. And Q-Tip, to his credit, is still building with Kanye. Like Q-Tip, I think him and Dre was just in the studio producing for Anderson .Paak.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things where it's like, I think I said this when we were recording the episode of pertaining to The Alchemist. Like, there's no age on hip hop anymore.
Right.
There's no age on hip hop, and I'm glad that there isn't, because we should want our artists to grow old.
She was a baby, and it's just incredible the amount of work that she produced and the quality, the caliber of work that she produced.
I'm glad you said that, because in that era, you were dropping 3-4 projects a year.
Yeah, they was getting busy.
They was getting, they talk about how the streaming era is the microwave era because artists pump out work so fast. It's no different than how it was back then. We just got so used to artists only putting out albums every 2-3 years that it's different. But when I looked at Minnie's discography, I'm like, yo, she was working. How you 31 with like 11 albums?
But if you think about it, real talk, when we do this, right, and we revisit some of these older acts or whatever, and I'm always blown away by the catalog.
Yeah, the volume.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, like, after people pass and the record labels, they're like, well, this person has like a backlog of music and things that they've done that haven't been released. So we also, understandably, they go back and reach in the archives and start releasing stuff as well.
I'm talking why they were still here. They catalogs be.
No, because she got like 6-7 albums with Rotary Connection alone. Like they working.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. She did a lot.
Prince had 30-something albums before he passed.
Well, Prince was a
but that's the point I'm making, because like when you passionate about it, you just become a studio.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that Minnie had so many albums.
Right.
That's why I said I'm still down the rabbit hole.
Right, and before she actually came out with Memory Lane, so I read when I was looking up her information. So she was actually a homemaker in Florida, raising the babies, and a college radio DJ heard a song. I can't remember what song it was, but heard something from her, sent it to somebody. I want to say it was an A&R for Atlantic, but don't quote me. But anyway, he sent it to somebody important. They heard it, wanted her to fly out, and basically she got into making what was one of her last records, which was Minnie, and of course Memory Lane, which is, if you haven't heard Memory Lane, that's, like I said, people know Loving You. And they might also know Inside My Love, which is another one of her like R&B standards. But Memory Lane is, you gotta know that song. Memory Lane was sampled as well.
Go.
Sample. Yeah, Memory Lane was sampled, but I was just about to say that quite a few of her records were sampled. So she's definitely like an artist that has definitely been sampled a few times from hip hop artists.
So with all that being said, right, That was a triangle offense. Final thoughts right there. You know what I'm saying? That was
Right.
that was
I got nothing
A
else to
little
say.
different this time.
right. So with all that being said, Lex, please do what you do best, please.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Beat Connection. Please like, share, subscribe. Make sure to comment. Let us know what songs and samples you want us to talk about next. And as always, please stay tuned for the next episode.
Ooh, you on point, yo?
All the time, yo. All the time.
Yo, that's such a groovy like sound, yo. Like,
Nah, listen. I remember when I was watching.
Mm.
I remember I was watching ESPN with Jamel Hill and I forget the dude. I forget the name. The dude's name is Michael. I forget the name. Mike and Jamel was talking on ESPN, and Mike said, if you talking to somebody and they don't respond to you on point, yo, all the time, if they don't respond all the time, they're too young for you and you need them out of your life.
You know what?